हरिवरासनं विश्वमोहनं हरिदधीश्वरम् आराध्यपादुकम् हरिविमर्दनं नित्यनर्तनं हरिहरात्मजं देवमाश्रये.
First and foremost thing is to catch the train from Bangalore to Ernakulam. So here we are with Babu Swami. So there you see my dad sitting and discussing the accounts with everybody else who is visiting Sabarimala with us, followed by dinner which is brought by everybody. It's more like a potluck, so we all bring whatever food we have. The next day morning, early in the morning, we reach Ernakulam, and from Ernakulam we head out to a very basic stay which is not too expensive because we are just going to be having a bath and then heading out to Pamba. The food here is very interesting because we get really hot idlis and lovely coconut chutney which is native to Kerala. What can beat a cup of chai? So as we head out from this location, Dad gets very excited about showing us places around Kerala. Here he's showing us Wellington Island and several other places which he used to frequent as a child or as a kid with his father and his grandfather during his younger days. The excitement in his eyes is something that one should really look out for. On the way to Pamba, we visit a few temples. Here we are visiting Mannarshala, a very beautiful Shiva temple which is situated a little away from the route that we take to go to Pamba. The temples here are very beautiful and are controlled by the Travancore Devas from board. Kerala has a lot of greenery and no doubt it is called God's own country. The local cuisine is very interesting with a lot of things made, almost everything made with coconut oil which has a very local flavor, making it very interesting. As we wade through the woods, we go up to the banks of river Pamba. It's a very scenic area with a lot of trees and a lot of greenery. The roads have been very well maintained by the Kerala government.
Government of Kerala Department of Water Resources. This is the place where we spend about half an hour before having bath in the Pampa river. My friend Mr. Suresh, an industrialist from Coimbatore, he is arranges it here and we stay here. From here we go to Pampa river, Pampa, and have bath there. And after having bath, we come and do puja for the Irumudi, and then we go to Ganesha temple and start climbing the 5-kilometer route.
Dad has his own connections with a lot of his engineering classmates, so he is able to arrange a very good accommodation for all of us. He is the Guru Swami and he is the one who takes us to every place, plans the entire journey, books our tickets, and he can also help others who are going for the first time. Here we have a Kanni Swami who's coming to Sabarimala for the first time, and you can see the Guru Swami helping him with following the various rituals. Here they're taking a dip in the holy river Pamba, which has got very clear water.
It's a river right there, it will be flowing like water definitely.
Here's another Kanni Swami
Very good experience.
who's also taking a dip
Experience first time.
in the very clear waters of the Pamba.
Yeah. We are ready to climb the hills.
During the floods in Kerala, this area was almost
Careful
uninhabitable
about fish,
and we had to skip going to Sabarimala for that one
Should
year.
not bite somewhere.
Dad makes it to Sabarimala at least once a year, and sometimes he goes in off season. Sometimes he goes in off season and actually visits
Swami.
Sabarimala too. Once we have a dip in the holy Pamba, we then start trekking our way to the first base, which is a few steps away from the Pamba river. Here you can see Babu Swami, who has been walking all the way up to Sabarimala the last few years. There are two routes. One is a route that is taken by the Doli people, and the cargo which reaches Sabarimala goes through that route, and that is a little longer but a little more comfortable to wade through. The other route is the normal route that we take, which is the shelter to shelter us from rain. But here, our Guru Swami is very particular that we take the longer route because it's a little easier to climb up that route. The route is quite steep at points, but has its own beautiful breaks like this one here, where we dip our legs into very clear, clean water. There are some shortcuts, but they're quite steep and dangerous. This route being the cargo route, you will see a lot of tractors coming this way, and you need to keep a watch on the tractors. Sometimes it's safe to just go with the normal route. We are in the midst of the Periyar Tiger Reserve, right in the center of the Periyar Tiger Reserve. The government has taken measures to ensure that nobody uses plastic, causing harm to the environment. Here the Doli guys are taking Babu Swami, who would find it really hard to climb up all by himself. On the way, we stop for a break. We celebrate the break with the Uppanaringa soda, which is nothing but lemon, soda and just salt. It helps us hydrate ourselves. Once we're done with a small break, we are rejuvenated, and Guru Swami tells us that we need to start walking.
Anyway, they told not much rush is there. We have become everything we can do by grace of God and the Ayyappan blessing. We hope everything will go smoothly. Swami!
Shenoy.
Swami!
Shenoy.
Swami!
Shenoy.
As we climb further, it gets steeper and steeper. It's not a very easy climb, but with the Lord's name on our lips, everything seems easier. You can see the Doli carriers are slowing down a little bit because the road is really steep. But while you walk through this space, you become one with nature. The greenery, the weather, everything is very conducive. Sometimes it rains, but we've been lucky that it's been good. So after a climb for around 2.5 hours, we've almost reached the top of the Sabarimala hill. We are just 700 meters away from the Sannidhanam, or the actual temple of the sanctorum. We are reminded of this really large tree which spans almost 15 feet from left to right, and this fell down due to a natural calamity around 5 years back. So we take a moment to click a picture there. Once we reach on top of the hill, my dad has his connections with the irrigation department and the engineers department, and he has managed to organize some great accommodation for ourselves. But we decide to go right up to the shrine, finish our darshan, then come back and get some rest. So first we break a coconut here to thank the Lord for everything. And then we climb up the Padinetampadi. Those are the 18 steps that we need to climb before we reach the main sanctum sanctorum. So these 18 steps were covered with Panchaloha metal in the early 80s. So as we keep climbing up, photography and videography is completely banned here. You will see one of the cops telling me to put off my camera as we reach the top of the 18 steps, which are the holy 18 steps of the Padinettam Padi. Once we've reached the top, we need to stand in a queue to get the darshan of the Lord. It is strictly banned to use any phone inside this area because it would affect the sanctity of the Lord. Once we get the darshan of the Lord, we try and come back early next morning at around 4 a.m. to get a second darshan of the Lord, and this time without the Irumadi. That's because we've already visited the temple with our Irumadi on our heads, and we've already offered what we've had to the God. Once we've offered everything that we had in our Irumudi, we come back to our rooms and empty the ghee from our coconuts. The ghee is then taken for a ghee abhishekam, while some others stand here and watch the scenic beauty of Sabarimala. Followed by lunch.
You get?
The tea here is really amazing and something that you shouldn't miss. Once we were done with lunch, we moved to Mallikapurathama temple, which is situated around 700 meters from the main temple. Here, we put the kumkum and the haldi, which are the other offerings. We move around this place, light up incense sticks, pray for each other, pour a lot of rose water on each other, and place these offerings at the temple. Once done with this, we visit all the temples at this space. Since time immemorial, there have been these guys who can tell you your fortune. So you sit right in front of them and they would play their little drum and they would tell you what's good for you and what's up in the future. This has been a tradition for the last few hundred years, and the beats of these drums keep you going and they're very trippy. I've always had an inclination to stand by them and listen to that particular beat that they play every single time when we visit Sabarimala. Once we are done with this, we slowly start packing up, try and get another darshan. This is the Pandala Raja, the king who actually came here and did penance before being one with the Lord himself. The place where he did this penance is called the Mani Mandapam, and at the moment we're right next to the Mani Mandapam. Here we see one of the devotees sitting right here, waiting to listen to what his future has got in store for him. Once we're done with this darshan, we slowly walk back to our rooms, pack our bags and start alighting the holy hill. Here's one last glimpse of the temple before we return home. There's another coconut that we break, thanking God for bringing us up safely and to take us back down safely. The beauty of this place is no animals are treated badly. Here my brother is seen walking down. It's a beautiful fog because we are there early in the morning. This was sometime at 4 in the morning, and so the beautiful fog all around the place. It's time for a good Kattan Kapi, which is black coffee,
Swami Sharanam
followed by a thanks
Thank you
to
very much, Swami, for everything.
we actually walk down, go back to Pamba, thank the Ganapati Lord there for bringing us back safely. It was a very rainy day. We had to carry some waterproof jackets to reach the Ganapati temple below without getting wet. The Ganapati Lord there for bringing us back safely, and then head back to Ernakulam junction from Pamba. We take another cab. Thanking God for the beautiful darshan. It's time for a second dip in the Pamba before we just head out. We're back at Ernakulam junction. We now take this train. Time for Appa to work on his calculations so he can pay everybody back whatever extra money was collected. We just reached Bangalore the next morning. Head back home, meet Amma for that really hot cup of tea. Thank you guys, thank you for watching.